We are live.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. Don't say crazy shit.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have AI transcription on at our work. So it's amazing. I don't know if you guys do this, but like it will not only transcribe everything we have to say, but it'll summarize at the end and auto attach it. We all go through Google. And
Nice.
it's amazing. But then you forget it's on sometimes and you'll like read the summary and you're like, ooh, I hope no one else reads this because we bashed the company for 10 minutes. Fortunately, no one has.
I remember COVID times and you'd listen to somebody talking and then like you'd have your camera off or whatever and you're saying something. And then I was like, oh shit, did I have my mic on? And then I'd go back and listen and I'd be like, okay, I'm good. I said some wild shit.
We had a pretty contentious restructuring. And at some point, and I know who it is, but I don't think anyone else caught it. But it was just like in the lull of a conversation, I hear someone whisper, "This is bullshit" to themselves. But it just came across, and their name popped up for a second, and then when it went away, and no one addressed it. And I'm just like sitting there, and my buddy or Atlas at work, he's like, "Did you hear that?"
Oh,
I did. That was amazing.
It's so good. And I don't know, COVID helped us learn how to talk on this kind of stuff and video chat with people, and we still can't figure it out.
Oh man. Yeah, it's been years and I'm still today I was talking on mute again. It was like, how do I keep doing this? It's the same. You ever like go to take a bite of food or something and the food just falls off the fork and you're like, I've been doing this for 40 years, 3 times a day minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
Yeah. And I just can't grasp this. Like, come on, I should be a professional. 10,000 hours.
It happens.
But
awesome. Yeah. Well, we got our fan in here today, so that's good. Thanks for joining us. We'll get rolling. We'll get this party started. Did you throw a invite on the Discord?
I did.
Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe have some people join us in a few minutes.
Yeah, if other people are ever interested, that Discord's open for anyone who's cool.
Anyone who's cool.
So
we'll vet you, and we'll probably still let you in, and then we might kick you out later. But
that's not what happened. Yeah,
we'll let you in first.
For now.
Awesome,
Mom.
All right, well, let's get rolling on this.
Yeah.
Cool. Welcome to Why Is This Game Crazy? And this is the Backlog, where we try to answer the question, is using a blue shell when you're in first place a strategy move or just pure evil? And with me today, what's that?
How'd you even get the blue shell?
From the bottom. Started at the bottom, went to the top. I got the blue shell.
Mm-hmm.
You hold on to it or you use it? I don't know.
There's a bad rap song there, and I'm going to make it happen with AI now.
Yes. And with me today, as always, is a pro kart racer, champion of the 50cc circuit, and green shell sharpshooter, Tyken.
I don't know about the green shell. The only thing I'm sharpshooting is right back in my face. But other than that.
We need to talk about those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I am Don. I just found out riding your bike into a bush of stinging nettles is the real world equivalent to a blue shell. Doesn't feel good.
Ooh, was this recent?
Yeah. This happened today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, good stuff. Timely.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, so if it's not clear, we are in the week of Mario Kart World launch, Switch 2 release.
I can't believe it's here.
Yeah, and there's so much going on this week. We've got Dune. We've got a lot of live events going on. So perhaps we have a little bit more news. Plus, it's the beginning of the month, so we're going to talk about what we've been playing. Man. Yeah, good times. Racers, go ahead and start your engines. Let's roll.
Why is this game crazy?
All right.
Always great.
Always great. Awesome. Well, it is the month of June, second day, and we're going to break down what we've been playing in the month of May. That kind of rhymed. And yeah. What do you got? What have you been up to?
Man, the whole month of May. That's a length of time. I will say I finished Sons of the Forest last month. We kind of wrapped up that game, which was wonderful. To give just a brief where it ranks, I think slightly under the Forest. I think that ending was neat, and I'm gonna keep it vague for people, but it just sort of ended. It was like, hey, a bunch of things went on. Like the Forest had like that nice tie into what Sons of the Forest was going to be and sort of that dark undertone. This one's very much like, oh, you got off the island. Here's what happened afterwards. And you're like, all right, without really answering any questions, just leaving you sort of mixed. And I know you beat it as well, Don. So
yeah, there's a weird disconnect between, one of your final moments in the game as you get to the final boss and the story that happens after. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What happened? So I thought they patched something to make the story a little more clear, and it just wasn't. So
no. There was a lot to like about the game. I really like the building aspect. I think that graphically that game's incredible.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it has a great sense of progression. Like unlocking equipment really feels impactful for most of the game. And being able to find things like hang gliders and golf carts was a really fun mechanic. They do let you kind of have an opportunity to just stay at the island and continue playing. But I really do think that the end game is probably the weakest part of the whole package. Whereas in the Forest, I felt like the end game was actually really amazing. Whether or not they buffed up the AI compared to the first one was something. So that's a big deal about the Forest, right? Is there are different tribes that interact with you differently. So how you play the game, if you're more stealthy, if you're more cautious, you get a different gameplay experience if you're just brazen and in their face. I didn't feel that way. It just felt like monsters kind of just spawned and swarmed you. It didn't feel that super engaging. So I don't know. I come out of it mixed. I didn't love it like the Forest, even if I can recognize there are parts of it that I think are just functionally better.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And then from there, we moved on to just a quick game, Anomaly Exit, which is a multiplayer pseudo horror game in which you get to a train station. You got to find out what's different to see if you're in the real version or a monster version. It was a cute little game. I mean, we pretty much played all of the content there was in about an hour. The multiplayer aspect of it wasn't great. It wasn't super scary either. So it was, I think I bought it for like $4. It was a $4 game. So it's hard to like be too disappointed with it, but it was okay. I also got a chance to play Elden Ring Night Rain. I've only been able to play one day. It is a wild experience to go from Elden Ring, in which I played a much more methodical game. I was much more cautious about like, I'm going to enter this area. Every battle is going to be to the death. Whereas in Night Rain, I felt like I was just running constantly. It actually felt more like Risk of Rain 2 than it felt like an Elden Ring, even if it had all the DNA of Elden Ring on it. So I think this is a sort of, I don't know if people that loved Elden Ring and Dark Souls are going to naturally just pick this game up. I think it's good. I think there's a lot. I want to explore this world more. I want to play more. I love roguelites, so it's like a pretty easy sell for me. But I also think if you're coming in like, I'm getting more Elden Ring, I really don't think you are. I think you're getting a weird mod or like a bonus mode to Elden Ring to play after you've done the game. So it's good and bad. It's very pretty, handles well. They made some smart decisions, but it's different.
Yeah, and what I'll say, Elden Ring is such a pretty game as it is, and that's kind of the pacing thing where Elden Ring, you get a little time to, like, once you clear the enemies, you get some time to appreciate the beauty of the game. So many times in that game. This game, you're running like a madman from the beginning of it. So there's no time to stop and look at the sunset or whatever, you're just running. And that's the big difference I can tell.
Yeah.
Seeing it.
It feels like a boss rush in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And so the one thing I think if you can get past that and know this is not a Souls game, this is not an Elden Ring. The fighting kind of is, though. It's still that, it's very much parry and dodge and that kind of stuff. So you have to know how to play Elden Ring. I guess you don't have to know, but it's going to make you a better player at this. I think if you're good at Elden Ring, you're going to translate that into this.
Yeah, and it does something that took me a little while in Elden Ring is you play so cautiously when you first start Elden Ring, and that's actually not the optimal way. A lot of times you could dodge either through an enemy or towards them and make attacks miss you. This game, because it encouraged such aggressive play all of the time, and granted, you are much more powerful than the Elden Lord was at the beginning of the game, but I found that playing that style was how I started to play Elden Ring as I got good at it. So it forces your hand to be like, no, you got to go in. You can't stand back and find the attack patterns. You need to just on the fly be able to react.
Yeah. The one thing before we leave this game, I did want to dive into a little bit is what a weird launch to, in my opinion, to come out with a very heavily focused multiplayer game and then not have cross-platform play. Some of the voice chat doesn't work natively in the game, I guess, or maybe it does now, but some weird choices for a heavy focused multiplayer game, in my opinion.
Oh, I 100% agree. And it's funny to see that From Software is kind of partnering with Nintendo to make a game, because I thought, man, they must bond over their terrible ability to make multiplayer games.
Yeah, no voice.
Yeah.
JC just said, yeah,
no voice chat, no duos. You either are playing solo or you're playing the 3-player random. The amount of communication you have available to you in 3-player for a game as complicated as Elden Ring. I mean, it's not the most complicated, but certainly not a snooze fest. Like, you need to coordinate your attacks and discussions, and there's no obvious indicators when someone's down unless you're looking at them. It's stuff like that needs a good voice chat for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It doesn't surprise me that this is From Software just didn't really catch on the right way to do multiplayer. It's still disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of something that they've always kind of had as a, afterthought or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, at least they're making a multiplayer game, so that's a step in a direction, right?
Well, even the multiplayer that you had access to in Elden Ring was very limited, right? You needed a non-reusable item. You could only summon in particular areas, or you would get invaded. Those were sort of the two that was out there. And then there was a guy who made the seamless co-op mod, which is absolutely incredible for Elden Ring, that said, hey, what if you just didn't have that and you could just play it everywhere? And it worked 100%. Like, it wasn't like the game was a degradation. They could have made multiplayer available the whole time, and they have a vision for how they want games to work, and sometimes that vision just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But they got one, so
awesome.
But yeah, I'm excited for more to play in Night Rain. I definitely will put some more time. Just busy at the moment.
Sweet.
And needing 3 players is hard to get together.
Yeah.
The other one, I was going to be talking about Obscura 33. I'm still very excited to play that, but I loaded up one night and I was like, I want to check out Revenge of the Savage Planet. I'll play that for about an hour just to see what that game's about. Anyway, last night I 100%ed it.
Ooh, in a week.
I chewed up that game. I will say it's not long. I think 100% took me just under 15 hours. Maybe it's 13, somewhere around there. That game was made for me. I don't know how they knew, but it's an exploration style game in which they let you sort of break all the rules. Like, there's a point in the game where they're giving you power-ups where they're like, yeah, we don't think this is a good idea you have this, but have fun. And it was absolutely true. Like, it was very easy to sort of break that game. 100%ing it's not a super heavy thing. Like I said, it took 13 to 15 hours of me doing it. But I had a blast the entire time. I love the world. I love the mechanics. There's so much like ways to capture creatures, to study them. There's all these weird videos that are like, feels like this corporate overlord sort of HR, but it's all dark and scary. All the villains are like over the top, crazy, maniacal, but it's all done in like real action shots as actual actors like doing these like crazy scenes. It was a fun game throughout, and I really, really enjoyed my experience with it, which I didn't think I would. I talked about it as like a pass or like I'll give it a shot, and then I ended up loving every moment of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was up to. Other than that, a bunch more Smash, but you don't need to hear that from me. How about you, Dom?
Fantastic. So started a couple of weeks ago. I played Inside, and this was it was on a Switch deal. I've been just eating up Switch sales lately. Mainly just getting ready for the Switch 2. I was like, I need some more stuff for this. I don't really like. I have every first party game that came out for the Switch, but I just kept piling stuff on. So I picked up Inside for like $1.99. And it's about a 10-year game, 9-year-old game, somewhere around there. And Playdead publishes it, and they also publish Limbo. So this is the kind of follow-up or successor after that. It's related, but not really. Like it's in the same world, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they go so deep in the lore as far as that goes. It's definitely the same type of game, very stylish choice that they
the art's super pretty. It's a 2.5D platformer, puzzle platformer, so you're solving puzzles, you're running around this thing, and what I'm gonna say is you're a little child, and this game is as savage as Tomb Raider. Like if you get caught by a guard or something,
or those
they
damn
murder
dogs.
you. The dogs eat you. Like it's so violent, and I'm like, this is as violent as Tomb Raider, but you're a little child. It's crazy. The graphics are amazing. The sound is amazing. Everything about this game, if you pick it up for $1.99, like it is worth so much more than that. It's a great game.
It's a post-apocalyptic, but it does a lot of vibes from like World War II Europe. The sort of like the populace you come across are barely surviving. Everyone's desolate. It's super dark and cringy.
It's
and dirty.
Dystopian, I think.
Yes, absolutely. But it does a great job of mixing together that sort of storytelling element. And this is something Limbo did too. It's storytelling, but on top of that, the puzzle platformer. Like once you figure out where you need to go, it's not a demanding game of your skills, but it's enough where it rides that line where once you know where to go, you've kind of got it down, but it takes a little bit.
It's a challenge, and they brutally murder you if you get it wrong.
Yes.
But they don't start you back too far away. They start you pretty close to where you messed up, and they're like, you fucked up, do this again, but we're going to start you, pretty close to where you were. So
it does a great job of really enforcing how in danger you are as a character. Like, what failure is now. So when you're running from those dogs that are chewing you into pieces, that's a bigger deal. Like there's a fear I felt as a player going like, I don't want to get bit again. Like,
So and you'll learn they release the dogs and you'll either know that you need to stagger your run or run faster or whatever. And man, it's a wild game. The game took somewhere between 4 and 6 hours. I don't really know. I almost got through it on like one full battery on the Switch, and played it in handheld mode. It's beautiful. It's a great game. There's a twist in it.
Yeah, I was about to say that twist was, you're like, oh, like it's the great kind of twist that contextualizes everything that happened before.
The game gets fun, I guess, at that point. It's fun the whole time, but it's different. It feels different when that happens. So I'll leave it there. Anything else you want to add on that?
No, I'm glad you played it. Limbo, generally those two go on sale together. If you can pick up Limbo and Inside, if you haven't played them, play them both. They're
Yeah.
masterpieces.
For sure. Fun game. I played. We were just chatting one night, and I needed a game to play. I think I was playing Last of Us before this. Oh,
Ooh.
okay. We'll save that for the news. But if you're in chat, there's a new demo that just dropped. So yeah, one night we were just chatting, and I started playing Towerborn. That was another game that we were kind of like pass on. I kind of wanted to try it, so I tried it, and it's a very light game. Reminds me of Golden Axe, but you get loot at the end of your run and increase your character's stats, and it's got some RPG elements to it. But the movement and the fighting is very similar to something like Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, what's the Castle Crashers, that kind of thing.
That's definitely Castle Crashers was the one that like jumped out to me when I saw it.
Yeah, and you can play with multiple, your friends or whatever, and it's fun for that. So I think one night when there's nothing else going on, good game to pick up and play. There was something like Zach and I were laughing about. You're in this pristine village and castle and everything, and then you get out of it into the outskirts, and there's tents, and these people that live in tents, they're monsters, but they're gobos. They're called gobos. So you kick the gobos out of their tents and you purge all the gobos, and it's just this like really weird kind of homeless vibe. Yeah, it's like
you're the aristocracy. Sent out. Yep.
You're like, oh, kill all the gobos. They're living on the outskirts in tent villages. It's really weird. But yeah, it was a fun little game to get into. And
graphically,
then
it looks amazing, by the way. Like that sort of cartoon drawing, like it looks really, really good.
Yeah, it's smooth. So yeah, you get 4 different classes to play around with, faster and slower and tanky and that kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely worth checking it out, especially if you have Game Pass. So I mentioned revisiting Last of Us, finished the series, season 2. So finished that, started playing, just getting into it, but it's the remaster version and it looks amazing. So
does it? Yeah, I have not gone back to it since the original, and it's just because there's too many games to play, but I should at some point. I would love to play the remaster.
Beautiful game.
Yeah.
And so I'll get more into that probably next month. And the last thing on my list, it was another Switch sale I picked up, and it was called Thank Goodness You're Here. Have you seen this?
No, I've seen the outside of it, but no. What is this game?
This game. Do you follow Rick and Morty, or did you ever watch that? Yeah. So if you watch the Intergalactic Cable episodes, this game starts off like Intergalactic Cable, and it's like you're going to this town somewhere in England or Europe or something, and you're going to this town, and they kind of run through like the different stores and the people of this town, but it's exactly like Intergalactic Cable. It's hilarious. And then there's just this, it's almost like this unhinged episode of Mr. Bean or something. You're like always in the wrong place at the right time, and like they're like, oh, help me with this thing. Oh, somebody's stealing counterfeit stuff, so go find him. And you're a small guy, like not a height challenge guy. You fit inside of a pint cup. Like, they at one point you get sucked up in a keg line and get poured into a pint cup. So that is you, but everybody's asking you for help. You're the smallest guy. You have to jump on everything. There's 2 buttons. You don't talk to anybody. If they talk to you, you punch everything or you jump on everything. It's hilarious.
Is it like a puzzle platformer or like an action platformer?
Yeah, it's like not action, but like a puzzle platformer, I guess. The townsfolk, they have different jobs or different tasks they need you to do, and you do them, but it's comedy, and this is a mature game, so it's like it's adult comedy, and it's kind of got this like British humor to it, but also in a way that you could see this on Rick and Morty, Intergalactic Cable. Like, it's just funny the way they advertise this stuff. So
that sounds delightful, actually.
Yeah, and I think it was like 30% off, so I picked it up. But it's worth a full price. Like, if you want a game that's funny, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, so. Actually, that did remind me. So this was the last on your list, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Another game I just played for a couple hours, just try out. It's called Rain on Your Parade. You play a rain cloud, and every mission starts with you having something you need to do. So it starts out pretty simple, right? Like soak all the people. Later on, you're doing Metal Gear Solid style stealth adventure tactics so that the guys with flamethrowers don't burn out your cloud. And you need to use your rain to take out like spy satellites. Like, it's a very fun, cheeky, sort of every level's like bite size, like 5 minute. It feels a lot like an iPhone-ish style game, but I had a lot of fun with that. Since you were talking about, thank God you're here, or thank goodness you're here. This felt very in that vein of like sort of funny, experimental, lighthearted. So that one was cute too. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely look into that. It's a hilarious game. Yeah, that's all I got for games. So those are our updates, and we'll hit these usually the first show of the month. We'll talk about what we've been playing, and we're also gonna do the try buy pass thing later today. But first, we have to talk about news.
Wow, there's so much.
Week is crazy. Just to give you a rundown of the week really quick, and then we'll get into some new stuff. But the Switch is coming out. Mario Kart World is coming out. Dune is coming out. And Summer Game Fest and every other video game presentation and direct is coming out between this week and next week. So there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah. I think I mentioned this before we started the podcast too. And I was like, why are all these announcements coming out? Why isn't this happening at E3? Just forgetting that E3 is just gone, right? Like Summerfest is E3. So we're in the thick of it. This is where all the retailers are going to be releasing, or not retailers, I'm sorry, all the publishers and game developers are going to start talking about fall. They're going to start bringing out the games that are going to come out. And I do got to wonder how many people are going to be a lot more aggressive now that GTA 6 isn't coming this fall. That leaves a pretty wide open area for games to start slotting in. So,
yes,
this week's going to be hype. That's all I'm saying.
It's going to be a lot of stuff. So we'll start with some Switch 2 news. Some retailers are reportedly canceling pre-orders. I've heard about it.
Yeah, the biggest two I heard was Walmart and Target. There are people getting emails that they're getting their pre-orders. Some are canceled just because they're not going to be there day one. Some are getting deferred. There's been people talking about not June but July. So that's going to be very interesting. It's an interesting narrative because you're hearing the opposite, right, Don? Like, you're hearing that there's going to be more stock than
I'm hearing. I watch a guy that follows inventory and everything, and he has announced pre-orders for Walmart probably 3 or 4 times in the last week, like a new batch of pre-orders. So that's what's wild to me, is that they're still opening up pre-orders availability and everything for this week. And we're also hearing that the same retailers are canceling these pre-orders. So it's wild. Yeah. I'm also hearing that there's significant in-store inventory. I know GameStop called me to pick up the console or whatever this week, and they said, if you like bring a friend, basically, like, we're going to have other consoles. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So
I do think it's interesting because the whole point of pre-orders is supposed to be for retailers. Why retailers love pre-orders is it helps them balance their inventory. They could see where demand's going to be. I don't know if this is a fault of Walmart or Target, like not balancing correctly, because that's what it sounds like, right? Like we have some areas that seems like they're not going to have enough Switch 2s, and we have some areas that are probably going to have too much Switch 2s,
mhm.
and they're trying to mitigate both. Like if we're hearing cancelizations and oh yeah, bring other people, we have more than we thought, that's a weird inventory balance. And I do wonder, I mean, we've talked about tariffs and that sort of mess. I wonder how much that played in as retailers were sort of hedging their bets on how
Mhm.
popular this console would be. They were hedging their bets on what inventory would look like. Maybe stuff got shipped earlier than they would have planned.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where this shakes out. Now, I have not heard a lick from Nintendo, despite the fact I thought that would be a sure bet to pre-order off of, coming directly from the source. I got one email 3 weeks ago
Mhm.
that was like, "Hey, we're still working on it," and then nothing since. So
Yeah.
that's wild to me too.
I got that email too, and it was basically you're on a list, but not the first list, or it was like we're gonna get to you eventually, basically.
Yeah,
And I
I
have
was like,
not
"Whoa."
heard. I've got a few friends in this circle that did the same thing, and I have not heard anybody getting the invite from Nintendo.
Yeah, what a wild thing to do. I
Yeah.
gather that they probably sent the first group from them to other countries. I truly believe that, but they had no plans to send us. Like they weren't shipping early. Like all that seems very wild to me.
Mhm.
If Best Buy and Target and Walmart can get it, why wasn't Nintendo shipping and storing? Like they just didn't want to pay warehouse fees. Like it feels very weird
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. Super weird. All right. We're going to move on to JC DeSantis and his news. So Jump
Oh,
Ship just dropped a demo. I'm seeing my Steam friends list like light up with people trying this right now. So very excited to, get off the podcast eventually and play this tonight.
right.
Sounds like
Yeah.
fun.
Jump Ship's a 4-player co-op space shooter, but what's cool about it is everybody has different jobs. So someone's a pilot, someone's got to fix a ship, and then you can get out of your ship and actually fire your guns at the enemy ships as you go. You're not getting into a turret, you're literally standing on the wings blasting away at other ships. So,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
like Sea of Thieves, right? In
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I played Void Crew, which was very similar. This feels like a better Void Crew, so I'm super hyped for this. I am also jumping on after this podcast.
Nice. Yeah, we will jump on.
Yep.
Nice. Cool. On to the next thing. GeForce Now is on Steam. And I also want to say we'll get into what this means, but there is a 6-month deal that lets you try this for like $29.99 for 6 months. So it's a hell of a deal. I know you
Yeah,
picked it up specifically. Did you pick it up for this?
I did.
For
Well,
the Steam Deck?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
So you've been a long time user of GeForce Now. I
Yeah.
have just gotten it literally this week, but sort of why my Steam Deck has been sitting on the shelf compared to my Switch is that everything I want to run, I can run on my PC, and it just happens to be faster, better. This really mitigates that entire problem because GeForce Now is cloud compute on
Mhm.
Steam Deck. I can run at a better resolution than the Steam Deck can run at. I get way better battery life, like almost triple and even significantly more on these like super AAA titles. Because the functionality is the Steam Deck's not running the game. It's not building the polygons. It's streaming as though you're watching Netflix. What the difference
Yeah.
is that it's taking your controls back and forth from a server.
Mhm.
It runs a lot better than I thought. I mean, early cloud compute was real rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that. The other thing that's been incredible. So I have something like 500 and some odd games available to me that are on GeForce Now. Because not everything in your library, but you link your Steam, your Xbox.
Mhm.
You could do Epic, Blizzard, and Ubisoft stores. You can link all those, and anything that's ready, what they've had agreements for, is already downloaded. I don't need to install the 120 gigs to play Oblivion. I could just play Oblivion.
Right.
Obscura and other games like that. Like that was actually the big draw for me, is the Game Pass games. I don't have a way to play them natively on Steam. Now I do, and it's really incredible. So I'm enjoying it. But you've been a long time, and you've used it on your phone.
Yeah. So biggest thing about it, I got into Stadia when that was around, which is kind of a joke in the video game world. But what I will say is Stadia was doing something right. And maybe it was a little too much too soon. I'm not sure. But when you, like, I got Cyberpunk on Stadia because they had a deal or something. Like, same thing with the Resident Evil Village. Like, they had a deal and it was like, we're going to send you a controller if you buy this game, or, you know, something like that.
Right.
So I picked those up and it ran flawless and there was no lag or anything. And Stadia worked so well. And GeForce Now is this thing that was getting started as Stadia was dying. And same thing with Luna. Luna is not as popular as GeForce Now, in my opinion. But GeForce Now, really, the way they did it is they were like, okay, anything in your Steam library, and we're also going to put Epic Games on there, and we're also going to put all these other marketplaces on there. You can just play it on here. And you can play it on your phone. You can play it on your shitty laptop from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You can play it on your TV, and it just works. This thing, it's like they have supercomputers that you're renting. You're paying this membership to basically use their supercomputers with RTX and everything on ultra settings. Like when you go into the settings and look at it, it's ultra, and it looks fantastic. Usually what I'll do is I'll play, just like you, the Game Pass games. I'll usually play on my computer because it's a potato, and I will play on GeForce Now because I think it runs better than the Game Pass cloud, in my opinion. So that's what I usually go for.
And I mean, at $30 for 6 months, like that is such a ridiculous deal. Even without it's what, 60? It's like 50% off.
Yeah.
Like as long as you have a decent library or Game Pass, like there's a ton of Game Pass games. So caveats, it's not all of them. That was something that, you know, but it hit everybody. Like Doom's on there, right? Elder Scrolls is on there. Halo's on there. Like
World of Warcraft's on there. Yeah.
Diablo 4 is on there. So all your big titles you would expect exist. If you have a big Steam library like I do, it gives you a great option. The caveats are you rent 100 hours. That's still pretty generous, right? That 20 hours a week.
I've never ran out.
It's still under 100 hours a month. So if you're a very, very heavy gamer, you might need to upgrade. There's a $100 every 6 months package that gets you the 4K running at full epic graphics. You get RTX, so you get the better cell shade, or not cell shade, but the
ray trace.
The ray trace. Thank you. So all those options and opportunities are absolutely there. So it might make me a cloud game believer. Like,
yeah.
I had that same thought. It's like, you know, I have a 4090. I have a really nice computer. I'm going to get to the point that will eventually be a potato. And if you look at the pricing of things like the 5090 that's out, maybe I'm not upgrading anymore. Maybe I am just going to pay.
Maybe $15 a month isn't so bad. Yeah.
At some point, the math starts really working out in my favor. So it's exciting.
Yeah. So pretty excited for that. And
super easy installation, by the way. Super easy.
Yeah.
Getting GeForce Now was literally going to a web page, downloading it in desktop mode. It automatically assigned itself as a non-Steam game, and it loads up in big picture mode, like cake. Play.
And I think with the phone, it's very similar, like super easy to run on the phone. So if that's you, like I run on the phone. I got a Backbone, or Razer made a controller too that kind of hooks up to your phone, and those things are pretty sweet. So
you know, if you're still rocking a 1080 because you're one of the OG gamers, might be time to look into it. You could run it just fine on your computer and it will look amazing.
It'll look
Some
great.
hiccups, network issues, those exist, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Retroid Pocket 5, that's another good example.
Yeah. Nice. Well, last part of news, this is kind of big and we can speed run through a lot of this, but all the game shows, like we talked about, all the game showcases, they start this week, starting tomorrow, actually. So State of Unreal, I believe it's Epic Games and Unreal and all that kind of stuff. They're
excited to see
be,
what the next Fortnite season is.
Yeah, Fortnite, maybe
more Lego, baby.
Maybe we'll get an Unreal tournament, who knows?
Oh, that's a dream.
That is the dream. So yeah, tomorrow's that. Tomorrow's also the Mixed Summer Game Showcase, which is a indies focus. And I believe IGN and all the other news outlets, they have times for all this kind of stuff. So check it out if this stuff sounds good to you. On June 6th, so we have a break from the 3rd to the 6th. I don't know why. Maybe the Switch is coming out.
Right.
Yeah. So the 4th at midnight, right, on the East Coast, 9 o'clock here, we got the Switch. The 5th, we're going to be playing the Switch. And then the 6th, like, we're going to get slapped with all these shows again. So there's Accessibility Summer Showcase, which is accessible games and developers that are building these games, but also have accessibility needs and that kind of thing. They're building games for them. They're building games for everybody like them. And it's really great. So that's good trend. And there's also Green Game Showcase, which is kind of environmental games. So games that talk about environmental stuff, or some games actually benefit the environment and development studios, so they'll talk about that kind of stuff there. And then that afternoon is Summer Game Fest, which is the biggest thing. This is like, if you wanted to watch E3 and 2 years ago when it was happening, this is what that is basically. This is the Game Awards show, basically. This is their summer version of it. It's not awards, but it's just Summer Game Fest. There's going to be a bunch of trailers, bunch of new releases, that kind of stuff. So maybe some shadow drops, maybe some new demos, maybe Jump Ship, isn't the only thing coming out this week. Keep your eye open.
I would expect to hear a lot about what fall, because again, there's a lot of question marks. Fall feels like a pretty empty bucket right now. I think Borderlands is the biggest game I can think of that's coming in the fall. So there's a lot to fill in there. The one caveat, Nintendo is unlikely going to be there. But I think you're going to bring this up, that we'll get a Nintendo Direct probably in the next month or so.
Probably
June at some point.
Yeah. Day of the Devs. This is also an indie showcase. Super awesome. This is basically, get into this. They talk about the studios that are working on these things, the artists who are working on these things. And if you like indie games, that's something to look out for. And it's Summer Game Fest happens, which is all your AAAs. And then immediately following on that same stream, you'll get Day of the Devs. So that's really cool. IO Interactive has a showcase, which they're going to talk about Hitman, 007, and Mind's Eye. That's a new thing coming out. We'll talk about those.
I'm excited for all three, and we'll talk about Mind's Eye a little bit, but they need to tell me what's happening with 007. Like, you can't give me a GoldenEye intro and not promise me some GoldenEye stuff.
Yes.
I'm either going to be a happy man or a madman on.
They're going to be talking about it. It's on the list.
And we will too. Don't worry.
So yesterday, who said this? Somebody brought up Kanan Lynch.
Revolver.
That's right.
Revolver Digital.
Yeah. But IO Interactive was one of the, Kanan Lynch, they're who started it. So I'm wondering if Kanan Lynch is landing here. Revolver basically said, hey, it's a great time. It'd be great for Kanan Lynch 3 to come out. So we don't know if they're just like speaking things into existence or trying to or whatever, but I hope it's a rumor.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
a
mean-
fun game. I forgot about that series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it had its heyday on the Xbox 360, so it's been a hot minute since
Yeah.
Kane and Lynch came out. A cool narrative game. It's a co-op. I think since A Way Out, there's been sort of a place where a two-player buddy co-op could exist.
Mhm.
Kane and Lynch did some cool things with one of the characters being crazy and the other guy just trying to be a straight-laced criminal. Straight-laced in the sense of the other dude is batshit insane. And they had some good asymmetrical moments for that. I also think the story was okay. It's a pretty. It felt juvenile at times, but it's at its peak, it was a Quentin Tarantino film, and at its worst, it was a bad buddy cop. So in a criminal sense. So I don't know.
Who knows?
The only thing I put more credence is Revolver is a publisher, right? They're not just some random dude who makes games. So that makes me think that maybe that's their shadow drop announcement, but who knows?
Yeah.
They can do what they want.
To me, it was just so weird because I haven't heard that name for a long time, like 12 years or something like that. I haven't heard Kane and Lynch mentioned.
Hot minute.
And it was mentioned by a developer. So that's weird.
A publisher. Even.
Yeah, publisher. Yeah. Yes. So that's strange to me. Hopefully we see something. I like to see old games come back. So yeah, love to see it. So that was June 6th. June 7th, there's a wholesome direct for Cozy Adjacent Games.
What a crazy.
Yeah.
Cozy Adjacent. We might have some combat.
there might be. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Followed by Future Game Show. We watched the one previously in the winter springtime frame. So they have the summer showcase. And that is going to be probably as good as Summer Game Fest. Maybe expand on some things, maybe show some new things. So look out for that one too. June 8th, Xbox Games Direct and Outer Worlds Direct. So they're talking about that, and a PC gaming show also on June 8th.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Xbox Direct. We should hear a little bit more about Gears of War Remaster. Obviously, their big showcase piece right now is Outer Worlds 2. I really enjoyed Outer Worlds 1. It's a nice budget one. I enjoyed Avowed, so I'm excited to see what's next from that studio. I'm hoping they expand on it. Outer Worlds felt just a little too tiny, and hopefully they get a little bit better budget. They still have the tongue-in-cheek sort of Fallout-y humor in space, so excited to see more of that. PC Gaming Show, I've not yet found myself wowed by one. A lot of times they come in so late that it feels a lot like, hey, we're also coming to PC, and it feels a little weird, but I'm happy to be surprised.
Yeah.
And it gives a better showcase for indie games that aren't coming out on consoles. So,
yep. So yeah, other than that, missing from this list is the Nintendo Direct. I've heard rumors that they were going to try to do something this week, which is wild to me with the Switch 2 releasing. But I've also heard rumors about next week. I think betting on it happening this month is a good bet. So
yeah, I think later June. If I had to be a betting man, I would expect later June for them to start announcing, like, let the momentum of your release carry you forward. Right as that lull starts in about 2 weeks, bring in the direct talk about the fall. I think that would be the move in my mind.
Yeah, and Nintendo also doesn't need the gravity of everything else that's happening this week. Like, they have Switch 2 coming out, but all the other game shows, they don't need to be a part of that. They can stand on their own. So I think waiting 2 or 3 weeks isn't a bad idea for Nintendo.
Which has always been Nintendo's MO. They were one of the first to pull out of E3, right?
Yeah,
they didn't care.
Yeah. And then also missing is Sony's State of Play. I haven't heard rumors on if this is happening. But I'd imagine something's going to happen soon. So hopefully
Sony's in a weird spot, right? Like, what do they got? Like, it's too soon for a God of War, right?
Was it the Naughty Dog? Is that what was the game with the space?
Yeah. So I assume that will be fall. I believe that was already announced. So that's true. I would expect at least that one to get surfaced somewhere. But isn't that coming out on everything?
I'm not sure.
Like, I seem to recall it not being a Sony exclusive. I could be wrong about that. It's been a hot minute. But
we'll have to check on that.
But yeah, Sony has been dominating this cycle, and Xbox has made some real power moves this year. And I kind of wonder if Sony sort of played their hand already, and now Xbox is going to get their opportunity, or Sony's going to come out and be like, "Surprise, bitches! Devil May Cry 6," and,
Yeah.
bounce out. So I don't know. Bloodborne 2.
Bloodborne 2.
We'll see.
Who knows? Yeah, so that's it for showcases and directs and everything. There's more of them than I mentioned.
Right.
So yeah, just check out the Googles if you want to see when those are and what's going on. That's it. On to Buy Try Pass. We're changing the name back to that because I think it sounded better. Yeah. So Buy Try Pass, we are going to talk about the month's releases. We'll try to do this at the beginning of every month with our first show of the month, and we'll just talk about what's releasing this month and if we're going to buy, try, or pass on it. Starting with Deltarune Chapter 1 through 4.
Yeah, so this is the sequel by Toby Fox, the guy who made Undertale. Deltarune is very not only inspired by Undertale, but it's a reordering of those letters. I am in between a buy and a try. I believe it's a Game Pass game day one, so
Okay.
I'm gonna try it there. I loved Undertale. I think that's a lightning in a bottle sort of game that had a huge cultural impact. Whether he can repeat it, I don't know. So that's been my hesitation. The other is I've been waiting for all 4 episodes to come out for Emil to step in. So I will definitely be playing this when it comes out, probably on my Switch too, if I get my hands on it though. But yeah, so we'll put it in the buy category, but it's a real close one.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in. I'm probably buying this because my kid won't let me not buy this. But I'm also, unless it's on Game Pass, then we'll just load it up on there. But I'll probably try this realistically, buy it for the kid and try it for myself. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the guy who did Undertale. Like, it's hard to say not at least try it.
That's it. Fun one, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
Now this is that $10 tech demo that they want you to buy.
The pack-in, they're not packing in.
Should have been a pack-in, yeah. It's going to be a pass. I will say at $10, if I'm out of things to play on my Switch 2, I'll pick it up. But yeah, there's no interest for me.
Yeah. There's too much going on. I'm gonna pass on this hardcore. There's too much going on with digital marketplace and everything. When you had like a Nintendo 64 and that was the launch day, and you picked that up and there was only like a handful of games, I could see picking something like this up. But with the way everything is, and you can play Switch 1 games on it, I'm not going to spend time playing this game. I'm going to go play Zelda or something. Like, yeah.
This is
hard pass.
This is actually something to talk about with Switch 2. So I heard someone mention that it's wild that the only big release game is going to be Mario Kart.
Yes.
And all I can think is people's memory of what other releases have been like are just wild to me. Like, if you think about the Xbox 360 launch, the GameCube launch, the 64 launch, like, you get one good game and you get a bunch of shovelware that got pushed out as quick as possible. The thing that we're going to get with Switch 2, and this is, I think, going to be just standard for consoles moving forward, is you're going to release your game and then you're going to get access to a pretty sizable chunk of a library that is going to be all up res to whatever the newest technology is. Like, all these indie games run on PCs already. They're going to run better on a Switch 2 by day one.
Yeah.
So yes, is Mario Kart the only true Nintendo first party big title coming out? Yes. But I can also play Tears of the Kingdom with better resolution, right? Breath of the Wild with better resolution. I'm going to have, I bet you there's a lot of indie games that haven't been announced that we're just going to see available on Switch 2 on the very bottom of these trailers all through this next week. So yeah. You don't need Welcome Tour. It doesn't have a place at $10.
No. I'd have to see some wild reviews. This has to be a 10 of 10. Must purchase. I don't even know. Like, there's got to be some like crazy party game element to it that we're just not seeing yet.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Dune Awakening.
This is a buy for me. We're going to be loading up. I've got a gaming group I've been playing together for 10 years. This is our next game. We are super excited. This is from the developers who did Conan, which was a wonderful survival exploration game. So I'm super excited. They're adding in MMO elements. So you're going to be building your base. You're going to have other players that they kind of took out the griefing aspect. So you're going to have your base. They're going to have theirs. You're going to interact with each other, but you're not going to constantly be stressed that they're going to come in and just blow up your base when you're gone. I love all that. So 100% in for me.
Yeah. And the sandworm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get eaten.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they'll jump out of the sand to eat ornithopters. I am so on board for seeing that happen.
Yes. Awesome. Totally a buy for me. This might also be buy a new computer one. Not 100% sure on it, but yeah, excited to buy it, excited to play it. I love the world of Dune, so I'm excited to get into that.
It looks fantastic. I will be disappointed if it turns out to be hot garbage, but from what I've watched, I'm nothing but hyped.
Yes. Awesome. Mind's Eye.
So this is done by next Rockstar dev, and it definitely shows. You can see a lot of the DNA from GTA, but in a lot of ways, I was thinking about this watching the trailer. It feels like a throwback to when we had GTA 3 clones just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Like this feels like a bite size. The devs already said it's 10 to 15 hours. This feels a lot like a small world GTA game. I'm going to say try. Some of those have been my favorites. I love Sleeping Dogs. That's one I always tell people, like, if you didn't get around to trying, just play it. Like, it was just such a tight package that it felt fun and enjoyable. I think Mind's Eye has a potential that also has the potential to just be like unnecessary. So those are always up in the air.
Yeah. Looks like a great game. It is a ex Rockstar developer that worked on GTA, so I'm like, okay, does it have the pedigree? Maybe, there's some potential here. So I would definitely try it. I don't know if I'm against like 15, 20 hour games. Sounds all right. Like, might be a good thing, but I have to wait for this game. I'm not going to say to be on sale, but I have to wait for some of the other things that are happening this month to happen.
Right.
And, it's going to be on the backlog. Like it's going to be a while before I look at Mind's Eye. No. So if you haven't played this game before, I don't think you have a PS5. No. Stellar Blade is coming out to PC. What do you think?
Is this something you played?
I have played. Yeah.
How did Stellar Blade fit for you?
It reminds me. Fuck, I can't remember the game.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about, and I forgot the name too.
The redhead. I don't know.
I'm out.
Oh, you're out. What's that?
Heaven's Sword?
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that.
Okay.
A little bit. Yeah, it is actiony. There's kind of some Last of Us zombies that are running around. Your screen, you're looking at the video, I can tell.
No.
Yeah, so it's good. The art's great. Yeah. It does feel like a little shallow. There's games like this I have picked up in the past, because of the protagonist or whatever. Mm-hmm. And
tell us about the protagonist. What do you like about him, Don?
They did well on the art. Yeah.
Right.
The art. Yeah. The outfits. There's games like this that have had a lot less going for it. And it did wildly popular on PS5. It was a lot of
Devil May Cry, right? Like it's an action.
Yeah. Action.
Is it Team Ninja?
I don't think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's sort of like in their wheelhouse. I'm trying to think, what's the game with the gal who's a robot that runs around in a schoolgirl outfit? She's got like
Yeah.
Why am I
Why
forgetting
can't
the
I
name of that game?
think of that? JC, help us out.
He knows. He knows.
By Square, isn't it?
I thought that was a Team Ninja, but I could be wrong.
Oh, now I'm thinking.
Yeah. It turns out that game's just a billion of them. Gosh, why am I drawing a blank? It is very, very popular.
They
and it reminded me
do.
a ton of it. I own it.
They have a patch or something. Like you can buy that girl's outfits, I think.
Oh, I know. But
Yeah.
not for no reason.
Yeah.
Just heard about it.
Yeah.
Dang it. I am drawing a blank on that game and it is going to drive me crazy. We have to stop the podcast till I figure it out.
We're just gonna pause. That's all right. We'll cut this out.
What the heck is the name of it? Nier Automata. Thank you. Yes.
Go. Oh my gosh.
All right.
I said that.
Let's get to the part.
JC. Thank you.
This game looked to me like Nier Automata, like that same world, or at least that same like genre. So it flew past me as far as like my interest in that game. So I know you haven't given your rating. I'll say for me, it's a pass. Like I actually didn't love Nier Automata. Like it never hooked me. I don't know why people praised its like deep story. I thought it was fine. Every time I got to story elements, I was like, get me back to the action. Then it got back to the action. I was like, oh, this is all this is. So I don't know. It didn't
I bought it new. It is a fun game. The character is very attractive. Like just being honest, like it's a fun game though, but yeah, there are some shallow elements to it, and it's really parry and action, and it's just like you kind of get tired of that loop. It's not super deep with any of the mechanics, but it's fun.
Yeah, I'm sure the PC mod community will be nothing but polite for that game. So
yeah, I mean that's why I had to put it on here. Like something's about to happen.
Already bought.
Yeah. When this game comes out, the modding community is gonna go wild. But I don't even know if you need to really do that. Like,
right.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And then going on to the altars.
I don't know anything about this game. So
the altars
tell me about it.
Is you're a guy and you clone yourself to do other jobs, which this sounds like there was a show, or maybe it's a Rick and Morty episode or whatever, but yeah, you clone yourself to do different things, and then there's like scientist version, and I think his name is Jan or something. So scientist Jan, and I don't know, warrior Jan, and like all these things or whatever. And you create, they're like altars of you or whatever, and you're running against, but no cloning, severance, but no cloning. Okay. You're running against the time because something bad's going to happen in like 2 or 3 days. But you have to work together with these like copies of yourself to get through different objectives. And it looks like if you ever played like the Fallout mobile game where you set up like different, offices or whatever, like it looks kind of like that when you're looking at the game, but I believe you can go out in the world and explore, and looks interesting. It's different. So
I will say, let's start with you. What is your
I'm a try on it.
You're on a try?
Yeah.
Pass, but I reserve the right to find out I'm wrong.
Yeah.
After doing Revenge of the Savage Planet, which was a pass for me, it turned out to be something I just consumed in its full essence.
Yeah.
If I hear that game's rocking, I'm in, but it goes into that same bucket of like, I need a survival crafter I need someone to tell me it's amazing for me to spend time. There's just too many of those for me to get into.
Yeah. Cool. Five Nights at Freddy's, The Secret of the Mimic.
I will say, so something I did not know until I watched the trailer on this. This is the 11th mainline FNAF game.
Yes.
Good God. I played the first one.
Yeah.
Here's what I did, and I know I'm not alone. I played the first one, and then I watched Matt Pat explain deep lore of the FNAF series. And that's been my entire arc of Five Nights at Freddy's. I will say, pass. I'm not interested in horror games in general. I do like a couple of co-op ones just because I like watching Atlas scream like a little girl running away from things. But other than that, it's not my wheelhouse. So
yeah, once again, my kid's gonna win this one eventually. I don't know if he's gonna get it when it comes out, but he is a huge FNAF fan, and Atlas feels attacked.
Good.
So we'll probably end up buying it. For me personally, I'm probably gonna pass on it, but I'll watch him get scared a little. And that's fun.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. The Tron Catalyst.
I don't know what it is about Tron where I really love the movies. I think Tron, the last Tron, which is probably a decade at this point with Jeff Bridges, was wonderful. I don't find the aesthetic to really drive me into these games. So seeing this Tron as like a 3/4 view overhead, I don't know. I'm a pass. It doesn't draw me in. Plus, no Nine Inch Nails, no Daft Punk soundtrack. Like, come on. That's like the best part of Tron.
Yeah. Probably a pass as well. I just haven't seen enough on it. It looks like something that's probably going to be on Game Pass or something. And I mean, even if it's on there, I don't think I'm going to try it.
Right.
Unless, once again, if it's getting rave reviews and something about it's great, then maybe. But right now, pass. Rematch. This is the Saifu Soccer 5v5 game.
I think this looks dope. I don't know what it is, and it's going to matter a lot on what their price point is going to be, but it's a 5v5. Everybody plays an individual character. It's not intended to be a traditional soccer game in which you're swapping and it's just 2v2. It looks like, and this is dumb to say, it looks like Rocket League with people, which I know is supposed to be just soccer, but if you played Rocket League, you get me when I say
yes.
That.
Yeah.
So this is heavy in my try. Again, if it's like a $20 game and I could convince a bunch of people, I'm 100% in. It looks fun as hell.
Awesome. I'm already in, so yeah, I'll be on your team. Yeah.
Let's
for sure.
Yep.
Huge soccer fan. So it looks, and soccer is like, it's so easy to make a game that you've done for the last 30 something years. So I'm excited to see something different, something new. 5v5 is kind of cool. And the characters, the animation, like this is based on Saifu, and it looks like the same team that did that, right? And it looks good. Like it looks like there's some cool stuff going on. So very excited about it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. It looks like the halfway point between like a traditional soccer EA game and Mario Strikers. Like it's hitting that in between, and I'm here for it. Atlas made a comment of calling it yelly people. We call Rocket League yelly cars because when we play that game, we're screaming at the top of our lungs. I hope I get that same sort of fun.
I hope so.
And the Sifu guys made a really great game that had a lot of cool complexity. I love that in soccer.
Yeah, cool. Excited about that. Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
Yeah. I have not played Death Stranding 1. You have, and we started this of you being like, Josh or Tyke,
you gotta do it.
Me. You need to play it. You got to play it, and I bought it.
Yeah,
and I haven't got around to it. So it looks weird and wild. It's another Kojima game. If you haven't played Death Stranding 1, it's made by the same guy doing Metal Gear Solid, and this one looks like it's just like F it, we're Metal Gear Solid now.
Pretty much. Yeah. So that's where are you on that pass?
I'm at a pass until I play Death Stranding 1. I feel like I just can't go into 2 without at least putting a little time in, but we'll see.
Yeah. So the reason, this podcast and like our idea to do video games or whatever, we're like, man, this fucking Death Stranding is crazy. It's been out for how many years now? 5, 6 years.
Right, 5,
We
6.
haven't played it because we were busy with other things. But this trailer dropped, and it was a 20-minute trailer or something for this game, and Kojima talking about it, and it just looks crazy, like out of control. I know, like, I haven't finished the game, and what I'm gonna say about Death Stranding is it is not a walking simulator. This game is so much more than a walking simulator. It's
Sometimes you run.
It's you run, you fall, you trip, and it's exploration, it's stealth, it's gun battles, it's melee. Like, this has everything going for it. Yeah, you're kind of like a UPS guy. Like, you take packages from one place to another. But the scenery is something I've never seen in a game. This is one of the most beautiful, like, games, walking in a mountain or walking in a field. Like, this game is so beautiful and looks just miles ahead of any other game I've ever played with open world games. Like, it is, the terrain makes this game like not just a walking simulator. It's not that. Like, you have to negotiate things. You have to think about what you're doing. Everything you do there's a consequence. So it's crazy. So I saw the trailer for this game, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. I've played several hours of the first game, and I still don't know what it is, but I'm gonna play the second game.
Yeah,
and
Kojima does such an amazing, like, we talked about developers with vision. Like, criticize what you want about Nintendo, you may not like all their choices, but they have a vision. Kojima's in that camp. Like, Kojima has a game he wants to make, and he does not give a shit what genre or style or what your expectations are. He's going to do what he wants, and the world's better for it. So
yeah.
Is this a buy for you? Are you?
It's a buy. I think the just playing the first one, and like I said, I'm not finished through it yet. I know when you launch up the second one, there is a way to get like cutscenes and the story so far and all that.
Oh,
so I'm like,
cool. Yeah.
Okay, so I can just jump into this and get the story so far if I don't want to dump like another 100 hours into the first game.
Right.
Which I might do. And
right.
Yeah, it's a buy. It looks outstanding. I'm looking forward to it. I think the first game was so good, it came out at a weird time. But I think if this game is right, it could be definitely game of the year, but game of the next 5 or 10 years. Like this.
Whoa.
I think it's going to be crazy.
Well,
so
we'll see. That's a bold claim. But
it's a bold claim. But
I do want to say I laughed out loud when Legally Distinct Gray Fox came on screen.
Yes.
I was like, Cyber Ninja.
Yeah.
Kojima's got a thing, huh?
It's the world. It's the Kojima universe. I don't know.
He's he might be the Wes Anderson of video game developers. Like, he has such a distinct style and way he does things that nobody else copies. No one else. There's not Metal Gear Solid clones. Nobody's doing that.
No.
Like, he just is so unique in the world that regardless of how you feel, or he could make a walking simulator and I would still be like, I need to know more about this. And he did. So
yeah, you want to live in that world, right?
I don't know about that. I'll vacation there in my safe bubble of the controller.
I'll visit it. Awesome. On to one I know you've been waiting for probably 25 years. This is the System Shock 2 25th anniversary remaster.
Yeah. So System Shock 2 is the spiritual predecessor to BioShock. It's really what Ken Levine put sort of his style in the gameplay he had on it. So I'm excited for it. I will also say it's done by a group here local in Vancouver and Vancouver, Washington. They're up near Ridgefield developing this game. So it's kind of cool that it's something in my backwoods. System Shock 2, I never played it on PC. BioShock was my first introduction, but I did go back and play it. it's archaic, and not having been in that time frame makes me a little nervous. I'm gonna be a buy just because I want to support the team. I want to support remasters of great games. I don't know if it's gonna hook me. I think it's going to show its age, and it did when I played System Shock 2 on PC when they ported it to GOG, good old games. But still, if you love BioShock and you are a fan of the historical importance of video games, System Shock 2 is up there. So it'll be a buy, but I'm not going to recommend it to anyone else.
Yeah. Awesome.
What about you? Where are you?
I
assume a pass, right? I mean,
yeah, I'm a pass. I didn't get into it 25 years ago, so I don't. and I just don't see myself like, unless people are like, "Oh, this is the greatest boomer thing that's ever came out," but nah.
It came out in my mind around the same time that Deus Ex did, and I was super into Deus Ex, so it was like, hey, you could get this other game, or you could just play what I think most people would agree is the better of that sort of open world narrative RPG run and gun shooter. But System Shock did a lot of things. So as a fan of the history of video games, it's got a place. And I'm glad they're remastering it for a newer audience. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna draw people in.
Nice. Last thing on the list. I don't even know why I put this on here. Tamagotchi Plaza.
Did you have a Tamagotchi growing up?
I think I wanted one. Like I had kids in class that had one, and I'm like, I want that dumb shit.
Me and I have 5 younger siblings that come from a decently large family. We all got Tamagotchis one Christmas. And so for like a good 6 months, that was our life. And it's crazy to me that this little egg, so those that weren't born at the time, it's a little egg. It's like a, I don't know, 60 by 60 grid of pixels. And each egg had its own thing that you had to grow. Mine was a frog, and like my sister had like a lion and stuff like that. It's wild to me that Tamagotchi is still around. This felt like the Beanie Babies equivalent of that time era, even faster. Like it was, everybody had it 6 months. No one had it 6 months later. It just died from a battery. All that being said, hard pass. I don't.
Hard pass.
It looks like Animal Crossing, but worse. And Animal Crossing is the only type of that game I'm really interested in playing. So, but there's an audience for it. It just ain't us. It turns out it's not grown ass white men.
It's not even not even my kids are getting that game. So yeah. I don't know who it's for.
Finally, more cozy games. We're running out of those.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we are done with Buy Try Pass, and we're gonna just talk about Switch and Mario Kart, which we know we're buying.
If I can get one.
I would put it into the list, but yeah. So Switch and Mario Kart come out this week. Hopefully we both get them. But yeah, what are your thoughts going into this week?
I'm excited for a Switch too. I'm also a pretty big Nintendo fanboy. I think if you are on the fence, you probably don't need it right now. Like if you are like, hey, I don't know. As I was thinking about it, this is such a weird time to come out with a console. This really should be for diehard Nintendo fans or like people that stream games for a living. It's going to make sense. I think for the average person, there's just not going to be enough meat on the bones till this fall. I don't think you need to upgrade. Like if you were the kind of person that cared about graphics, you weren't buying a Nintendo Switch to begin with. If you're the kind of person who got a Nintendo Switch because it was bought for you, well, you're going to go ahead and just wait till the fall because it's going to be a Christmas purchase. So I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I also think Mario Kart's not going to hold me over more than Dune Awakening is going to, right? Or any of the other giant, enormous games of June. Mario Kart's a very casual game. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm thrilled to get my hands on the next generation. I hope this opens up the doors for my favorite games like Smash Brothers to get a new version. I hope we get to hear more about Mario Maker 3 coming out at some point. But I don't know. I would say I'm not as like hyped as I thought I would be coming into a new console.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna say is like Mario Kart's one of my kids and mine like favorite games. Like this last year, the last couple of years, we loved playing that game. So Mario Kart 8 was fantastic.
It's the
It was
best
good.
Mario Kart. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, it was a good time. So very excited for Mario Kart World. I like the open world stuff. I think that's going to like usually when we play Mario Kart, it's like, okay, let's play a 4-match series or let's play 2 4-match series, maybe some battles. But we play it for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and we're like, okay, we're good with that for the weekend.
Right.
So I'm hoping like with it being open world and everything, there's some more draw to it than just, you know, few Mario Kart races.
True.
But I think they're also doing some new things with the tracks and challenge modes and everything that there's going to be a lot to do in this game. So
That's true.
Yeah, looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited about it. I know my kids are excited about it. They don't like, I told them we're not getting it. So we'll see how they react. But yeah, I'm excited. It's interesting. So the launch titles are not great. You have Mario Kart. I think there was another racing game that Nintendo came out with that's like kind of like F-Zero, but not F-Zero.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's not Wipeout. It looks like Wipeout had a child with F-Zero.
Yeah.
Like a very fast-paced.
Nothing I wanted to even mention because I was like, just it doesn't look that great. And then there was the Survivor game we talked about last
Survival
time.
Kids. Yep.
Yeah.
The remake of the Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah. So
Finally,
those 3 titles are the 3 that we're getting for launch titles, but it's
that
not
are new.
That
like
are new.
Bravely Default, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Party.
But this isn't. Yeah, this is not necessarily a bad launch.
Yeah.
Like you said in the past, looking back at the Wii, it was like a couple Nintendo first party games and a shitload of Ubisoft like garbage games or whatever. So this is normal. This is where we're at. And I think we're going to find out over the next 2 or 3 weeks where we're going in the winter.
Yeah, 100%. To me, I'm a daily Switch user. It's like my console I pick up when I have like 10 minutes free. Maybe I just got off work before I'm to go pick up the kid. The Switch 1 is going to go out of my hand. The Switch 2 is going to go in it. Like it's just going to be a replacement. It's going to be an upgrade to what my Switch 1 was, but I fully expect that I'll still be playing Smash Brothers and Mario Maker. And and I'm going to load up Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom just to see how they look. I don't know if I'm going to jump back into those games. They're pretty large. I have a huge backlog. It's hard for me to justify, but we'll see. Yeah.
So pretty excited about that. I'm excited, like looked up the controllers are supposed to be cross-platform. So
good. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. That's what I'm hearing. I'm sure there's going to be some compatibility one-offs or whatever. But it sounds like I'm going to be able to play a full game of Mario Kart like when that launches. So with my kids. Yeah. So
I'm excited for day one Mario Kart. We will talk about that next podcast.
We're going to talk about it next week. Yeah. I'm really excited, but yeah, to your point, if you're not all about Mario Kart, like, yeah, the Switch 2 probably is not for you right now, unless you're trying to play like the Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition or whatever, or Hitman, whatever it is. But all these games have came out before. Nintendo has some nice, bundles of these games or whatever with DLC and everything, but
you could get GeForce Now and just buy it on PC for cheaper.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna miss anything. So yeah, definitely this isn't for everybody, but I think there's some of us that really want to play Mario Kart World because we've been playing Mario Kart for 30 something years or whatever it is. And
you gotta say it like that. It's been a while.
Yeah. It's been a while. But yeah, super excited about that. It's a fun game.
So yeah, next week, stay tuned to the podcast. We're gonna have a lot of news. I fully suspect it'll be us talking about Switch 2, and then it's gonna be talking about what of the 5,000 demos came out or
And
trailers that we're
Dune.
most excited for. And Dune, yeah.
Yeah. So big things next week.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to call in sick to work for like 2 weeks. I'm sure they'll be understanding.
Yeah, and we'll try. There's no way we can watch all the the game showcases, but we'll try to catch up on the big ones and talk about it next week.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Anything before we wrap up the podcast? I know we're at the tail end. Is there anything not announced that you are hoping is going to show up, or are you just hoping for a new surprise?
You know what? I watched the I watched the Netflix thing they had over the weekend, the Tudum or whatever it is, and I was hoping for the BioShock trailer for the Netflix series, and it didn't happen. I don't know. BioShock would be cool. Something in that realm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything that I'm like, I need to have this happen. Like I know Half-Life's on there. We talked about the rumors last week. Right. But yeah, there's nothing that's like I need something to happen. Yeah.
Bloodborne and Silksong. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. Bloodborne and Silksong.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Good points. I need Sony to do a freaking state of play and tell me where Wolverine is and tell me where Knights of the Old Republic are. But we talked about that last week too.
We definitely need to hear about KOTOR. That would be hype for me.
Yeah.
Shadow drop me some KOTOR, please.
Oh my God. Shadow drop. That would be the most insane thing.
Yeah.
Yep. So
sweet. All right. More to come.
Cool.
Forward to it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all we got today. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Talk about our Switch weekend.
Hell yeah.
All right. See ya.
Later, y'all.
Why is this game crazy?